I just fuck Chris Thrasher.
Is that how you want to start?
That's how I want to start. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Wrestling Paradox Podcast. Are we recording now?
Yeah, it's what that recording is in the corner up there.
Everybody has it on their screen, right? Everybody can see that.
Yeah, it's right up there.
We're recording. Ladies and gentlemen, Wrestling Paradox Podcast. I don't know how to do this no more. What do I do?
All right, so Joe doesn't know what to do if there's just not a guest to throw, so he doesn't have to do his job. So welcome, Wrestling Paradox Podcast audience. That was Joe. You're used to that nonsense. This is doing this.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
No, he can't see it unless he's talking.
I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm like Joe. I don't know what to do.
Well, you're fine.
Do I hold it? Do I hold it like this? Do you want me to talk like this?
That sounds way better. That sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, back once again inside the Paradox. First things first, always got to get it out of the way. M&J Ecological are your sponsors for this show. 305-697-2258. Again, that is Marcus Andrade over at 305-697-2258. Also, I forgot to mention this, but Marcus is an admin for a page called South Florida Pro Wrestling on Facebook. That is his page. He started that like 4 years ago. So if you're a wrestling fan, you want to know what's going on in South Florida with all your favorite indie promotions in South Florida, go over to South Florida Pro Wrestling on Facebook and join that page. And I'll tell you about the likes of, Ronin and CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling, longest reigning territory in South Florida for 17 years now, in all of Florida. So as I say every week, pack your shit, move to Florida, become a wrestler. Other than that, what's up, buddy? How's everybody doing? I got two Chris's, one cup.
I can
Last
tell
one
you
to finish has to eat it.
You know what's funny is, tonight after dinner, I was just scrolling through social media and I was like, this is a wild time to be a professional wrestling fan. Like, it's just a very wild time.
It's pretty crazy. And like, the amount of content out there isn't I feel like it's similar to when there were house shows and stuff. It's just that we can access all of it. So it's amazing. Like
not even that. I'm just talking about the news. I mean, it's like almost 100% done that Daniel Bryan's signing with AEW. And then on social media, on Instagram, CM Punk put out like his own picture on is All Elite. He tweeted out. I mean, he posted on his Instagram, and under it, he had tagged the Phil Parsons Project, which is the Chicago Bulls entrance song. So it's like he's like playing into it too. So like you didn't get this when we were younger.
No, and I feel like the news would have been, given what we know now about what was going on in locker rooms and shit like that, I feel like the news would have been way crazier back then. But this is kind of cool news. I think it's just the smarter guys that really are like, I don't know how to put that. It's something that you can end with savvy, but like they're publicity savvy. They know how to work it to their benefit. They know
they're character savvy.
Yeah. It's a very interesting time because guys that can really work show you that they can work in all aspects. They're just working everybody, and it's weird because there's often times that I hear posts and stuff, and like I listen to other podcasts, and there's Bischoff's podcast, there's Pritchard's podcast, and it's just sometimes you just like am I hearing the
Jim Cornette's podcast?
No one listens to Jim Cornette's podcast.
No one listens to that, and there's that one is at the top of the list of like, do I believe this? Is this the ramblings of a crazy old person? What is this?
Well, what's funny is Chris mentioned earlier, we didn't get this when we were younger, which is true, and that's the problem nowadays, the internet. Mm-hmm. Everything is out on the internet. It was just fucking X-Pac just showed up in WWF or WCW. Like there was no...
Yeah, dude, there wasn't like hype to like, oh, where's this guy going to go? Like I didn't need to know.
Exactly. That's the bad part of the internet is it gives you fucking fat douchebags who fucking just, can voice their opinion like us. That's what's wrong with wrestling nowadays, the internet. The internet has taken all the excitement out of wrestling, because as soon as somebody leaves, you hear they're going somebody else, and it's just like I want to be surprised. When Jay White showed up in Impact, I was genuinely surprised. I was popped. I was like, I didn't know what the fuck to do.
But so like, that's under the actual person's discretion, right? Or is that just depend? Like, how do you feel like? Do you feel like it would have been trending like that if even Jay White would have made a statement? Like, I feel like that wouldn't have.
But now with Daniel Bryan shows him AEW, I'm just gonna be like, oh, there's Daniel Bryan on my TV on AEW. I know about it. I know he's coming now, and that's boring now. That just takes the life out of me. If he just showed up like Andrade, there was no word of Andrade going to AEW. Like I did not hear about it, and like.
No, I think you're confusing Alistair.
Or Alistair. Yeah, Alistair.
I would say Andrade. It was worded like.
No, yeah, Alistair. I'm sorry. When Alistair popped up, there was a pop. I was like, oh my god. When Nick Gage popped up, which we're gonna get into here in a minute, when he popped up, Chris said, "Oh my god," and I didn't know what happened. And then I looked on my phone and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Like, but that's what I mean is like there was like that. I guess the Alistair one that goes to his that goes towards his character. Like you don't think of going to social media and like looking about what's going on in this dude's life because he keeps it. I don't know if he keeps kayfabe or he just does it because it's easier and it makes.
Of course, he keeps kayfabe. Look at his eye. He carried one storyline from a whole different company that doesn't acknowledge the outside world, and took that storyline and took it to another company.
So, but there you go. And then now you're getting guys that are just. But like, see, that's the thing. Like you say, like even Andrade was talked about a little bit, but not so much. And then Jay White was not even talked about, obviously, because you see that coming. But I also think the Jay White thing wasn't talked about because they're able to keep that. They have those three companies at their disposal, and they can kind of give them the heads up to not publicize that. Like I feel like they do it when they feel like it's gonna be like Christian Cage. That guy, he came from WWE, and you didn't really there wasn't like hype a week before that Christian Cage was coming to.
Yeah, but Big Show there was like that's a huge name to have come over to your show. Someone that's considered, a lifer. Like they did it right with Mark Henry because nobody knew Mark Henry was going to AEW. Even Busted Open, they were talking about. They're like, he was on yesterday with us, talking to us, and we had no idea.
So then why do you think that is then? Because it's really just right now it's really just Daniel Bryan and CM Punk that are getting all this
Well, Big Show got it. Andrade got it. Like they talked about it. And it was when they came out, it was like, okay, they're here now. If Daniel Bryan walks out on Dynamite next week, I'm not gonna pop. I'm just gonna be like, oh look, Daniel Bryan's on the other channel.
I think this is a business reason though. I think it's because
he told Tony Khan no more surprises. They didn't want surprises on their show. They wanted to be notified about it.
Well, I think this is, like I was saying, it's business purposes because the New York, the Grand Slam, AEW Grand Slam at the Arthur Ashe Stadium is the night after SummerSlam.
Sure.
So I think that's the reason why, because SummerSlam's on a Saturday this year, which is very, very odd to me.
Really?
It's in Vegas, right? Like,
yeah.
I wonder if there's something going on Sunday there that they didn't want to go head to head with.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think, but also going back to what you were talking about, like the internet nowadays, and like you also had to realize though back then there was no 90-day compete clause, so there was like even if there was internet back then, I don't think we would have had enough time to even pick up on.
Yeah.
Hey, this person's going here. This person's been spotted here. Because remember, we had the Wrestling Observer magazine and Pro Wrestling Illustrated that would get sent to grocery stores or to your house. See, but you only got it once a month. So by the time that changed, there was no backstory. There was no nothing.
Rick Rude's a perfect example. And one of CCW's she wasn't a student there, but she is at CCW shows and has competed for CCW. Kelsey Heather was
it's the second one. She was at both shows the same night.
Yep. Breaking chains, doing things, breaking rules. Now she's
breaking the door down.
She's this generation's Rick Rude. But anyways, but I was gonna ask Thrasher about that because, like Rick Rude, you had to read the Observer and stuff, and I found it interesting in an article I read about CM Punk is that he's wrestled twice, I believe he said, but like under a masked gimmick at some company.
Yeah, that came out when
And that,
came
but
out.
like,
Yes, on somebody.
but like, did somebody put that out? Because I feel like that would have gotten way bigger of a like. Can you imagine being at an indie show and like being the one to like? Because he had to wrestle in a full body thing, right? Because of the tattoos and everything. So like,
So the first time that I saw anything about a mask with CM Punk, it was a run-in. There was a match going on. It was, you know what I'm talking about, Chris. You sent me the link. It was a run-in. He was in a jacket, like a jacket like this, like a sweater, but I think it was a zippered one.
Yeah, it was like a tracksuit.
Yeah, and then so he ran in, did a GTS, and ran out, and you can kind of see how he was moving. It was Punk, and then so they had a picture of the top that he was wearing, and then somebody from that night, some kid posted a picture on the internet of with CM Punk, and it was the same exact sweater. Everything was exactly the same. So it came out that it was Punk, and it never really picked up steam. Like I felt like it should have got more exposure than it did.
Same, yeah. Like
and then that made me think, is CM Punk as big as a star as he was in WWE?
He did it twice, though. So what was this?
And it never got traction. So, I mean, is it that big of a deal anymore that CM Punk does something?
No, I think
Really
he did it on purpose. Because, like, okay, he's kind of like the boy that cries wolf when it comes to professional wrestling. Like, he'll always stir the pot. Like, oh yeah, he'll put up the Sears Center in fucking Chicago when like major companies are in Chicago, or he'll check in on Twitter or Instagram, and like I think he did it All Out last year or 2 years ago for AEW.
Yeah, we thought he was gonna show up in Chicago at All Out
because he took a picture of the silver ball from Chicago, and he like marked, yeah. So everyone thought like, oh my gosh, he's in town. He's gonna pop. He's gonna show up.
For all our Chicago fans, by the way, since I live there, it's called the Bean, Chris.
Yeah, the Bean. What the fuck?
The silver ball.
The silver ball. That's the call.
I'm gonna start calling it the silver.
Yeah, silver ball, bro. Like,
so Slawson, I pay you a lot of money to produce our show. I'm barely able to put diapers on my kid because of your payroll. So here's the thing. I asked you to produce a show for us tonight and give us all the wrestling news.
Can we start with Monday Night Raw, please?
Sure.
Yeah, the worst writing in the history of wrestling, where a superhero comes out, does a crossbody on a 14 times women's champion and wins the title. And I don't know what else to say about it, except the only thing I can think about is they're trying to get Charlotte to 16 and get it out of the way.
I don't really care about that. I don't really care about that. You had Karrion Kross debut on the main roster as the NXT champion, and he gets beat by Jeff Hardy, who hasn't been in a major storyline in months. He's been a jobber for the past couple of weeks, and that's his major return on the Raw. You beat the NXT champion. The thing that came to
unbeatable,
mind,
unbeatable, has not lost, undefeated.
He's lost now.
Well, he got a loss now.
He's done. Yeah.
Here's the only thing I can compare this to is, you remember when Taz was ECW champ but working for WWE, and he faced Triple H on SmackDown as ECW champion, and Triple H just like no-sold some of his moves, like just beat the shit out of him. I think this is Vince going back at Triple H for it. He's like, hey, I'm gonna bury your champion from your show with this guy that's been arrested for drugs and DUI, because I'm just going to give people that get DUIs just like third and fourth chances. Like,
Vince loves a good DUI. If you get a DUI, it shows like assertiveness in the workplace.
I think he's gotten so old that he's waiting on the rest of the alphabet to catch up with DUI.
You think that's the order? That's not even like the like, why do you think? I don't even know what to think anymore, because they didn't really squash him, right? Do wins and loss really matter in the grand scheme of things? But obviously they do, because even fans like us are noticing it and going, why would you do that? Mm-hmm. So but they do it with their own roster as well. Like, they've done it with other people. So it's this weird, I don't know, dude. It's like people get there's no like long-term storylines there. There's just let's do this, and then you have to seem less important, so you're losing a little bit. Like you said, Jeff Hardy lost for a little while, and now they want to give him a push, so they think, Or I don't even know what they're doing with him. They just gave him they didn't want to give Karrion Kross the fucking champion a push. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, it makes no sense. And another thing that bothers me too is Ricochet's been on the main roster for what, a year and a half now? Okay. He always jobs during the week, but when he goes on a pay-per-view where it's like a Royal Rumble, Battle Royal, or Money in the Bank, he's like doing all these spots that he used to do in the indies.
Is he the Kofi? They used to do that with Kofi.
Yeah, it's like
all year, and you just wait for the Rumble for him to do a bunch of fucking spots, and that would be it.
It just blows my mind.
You know, the one thing that, and we always kind of refer back to, I know it's Chris's all-time favorite storyline of Sting and Hogan, you know, for a year. And Mike just said that we don't have storylines that last anymore. I mean, the major argument in all of sports right now is that a lot of millennials and it's not a shot at millennials. People are, times change over, things change over time. But that younger crowd, they get bored quick. And the biggest argument is people don't like going to baseball games because baseball games take 4 hours and one run can score and no magic happens. It gets boring. And so that's why football, basketball, sports that are constantly moving are the most popular sports in the world right now. And that's the same thing. These kids can't sit through storylines anymore. They want it now, change title now, next match now. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't, it used to be a program will build for 8 to 12 weeks and you have a payoff at a major pay-per-view. And the one I always think about is Batista and Triple H. They battled for 3 months, had the big payoff in Hell in a Cell. It was over. It was great. I loved it. But that doesn't work anymore. That storyline with Jeff Hardy and Karrion Kross is going to be over in a week. They're going to fight at SummerSlam, and then that's the end of it.
Well, I just read that I guess they were taping Raw or taping something, an in-ring something for Karrion Kross in a Raw ring. They had to reshoot it 3 times because the crowd was chanting Hardy sucks, and it was so loud that they couldn't dub the audio in.
How did they shoot something 3 times with a fake crowd? They tell them, hey, we're shooting this again.
No, it's not a fake crowd. It was a live crowd.
No, with a live crowd, how do you tell them, hey, we're shooting this again?
I think they were shooting like a full segment, let's say like a 3-minute promo in ring, and they would chop it up, and then they would release it out to their social media.
It's crazy. But no, yeah, it's just there's no patience in the world nowadays. That's one of the bad things with wrestling. Internet's killed wrestling.
I also feel like if you really try to put a storyline together that's going to get people like that, I've heard that excuse so many different times for so many different things, like why people do, but like I just don't think it holds water. You still have 30-minute sitcoms. You still have 30-minute episodic television. You have fucking HBO shows that are like a movie each episode. So
yeah, but those storylines go from week to week though, and they stay on topic week to week. Right. You're not gonna have like on The Sopranos the first week, the first episode, you didn't have him start the family, and then the third week have someone kill him, and then have him bring him back to life and say, "Oh, I lost an eye,"
what most soap operas did in the 90s. What are you talking about?
But I think the problem with a lot of AEW, like not haters, I don't want to call them haters, but non-AEW,
like 3 hours long.
Yeah, but I think the problem I have with like non-AEW fans is they complain that there was either no storylines or there was like storylines would just like come to a crashing halt. I really like this Kenny Omega Adam Page storyline because
that's the only one you can give.
Well, I mean, who else would they have a bit major storyline on the TNT championship? I mean, Brody Lee died. Darby was an interim champion. He was just
I feel like Jericho and Orange Cassidy's went on for about a little over a month, through a couple pay-per-views.
I mean, Jericho and MJF right now have been a good storyline, but I like what happened to FTR? That was the biggest thing going on in wrestling.
I think one of them got hurt. One of them got hurt.
Okay, but before that, we're gonna get FTR and Young Bucks. They have 2 matches, and that's it.
Match.
They have 2 matches, and that's it, and that's over.
But the second one is when they won the titles, right? So I think the one where they won the titles was like the payoff, and it was actually a really good match. I remember that match.
I think because they were trying to get him in as fast as possible with Tully and and MJF.
So many. I've said this before, but like it's like almost every month that I watch AEW, like I was just rewatching a bunch of the Fyter Fest stuff and stuff I missed from the past couple weeks because I've been on the road. But like, dude, they have so many people. Like,
Rampage is coming out now.
I know, but that'll help. I get that will hopefully help. But like, I feel like once the titles changed for the Bucks, like they felt like they had to find them new opponents. Like same thing with what happened when Moxley was the champion. Like they had to find him. He didn't really have a program. He would just come out Stone Cold style, kick ass, boom, payoff, boom, payoff. Like Omega is the only one that's had it for this long since Jericho.
I mean, honestly, I think now thinking about it, I've been thinking about it since you mentioned like storylines in AEW. The best storyline to me for a long time there was Santana and Ortiz versus Best Friends. It was a great storyline. They had a lot of great matches.
They're starting another one with FTR.
That street fight was amazing. It was amazing. A great match. And then it stopped, and it's like the Best Friends went away. Trent got hurt. I understand that. Santana and Ortiz were kind of like on and off, and like they didn't know what they wanted. Like honestly, Santana can go off on singles run right now and probably fight for the title. The guy's great.
I don't think honestly. I was watching. I don't know where I was watching, but it was something on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube. It was about Santana. He has a clothing line that he just opened up. It's like you have to be on like a members list or a mailing list, and then he sends you out the pre-sale code, and you enter. That's how you can buy it. And you can it's only limited. Whatever. He's doing very well.
Yeah, no, the guy's smart. I've been following him since LAX on Instagram, and like ever since his dad passed away, like from that post forward, you can see he's just push, be in the gym, become a better wrestler, always training, always like doing something for his kid, and the guy's awesome.
That's why I think the singles run is kind of not out of the question for Santana, but it's like I think he's more comfortable now in the tag team because he's got so much other stuff going on.
Also, I think he feels like Ortiz will get lost. Yeah, him and Ortiz are such good friends in real life that he wouldn't want. Like, I think they have an understanding that Ortiz only looks good because when Santana takes over, then Ortiz kind of just jumps in.
Yeah, top tags.
Yeah, that's.
But I feel like I mean, that's the thing about tag teams. Like, I mean, I can't even. I was just trying to think while you were saying that, like, what tag teams I could think of that both of them were like fucking transition into singles so well that they both.
Your cousin, and his partner.
Well, they. Mike's singles career was not very successful, but it was good, and so was his tag team career. But I'm talking mainstream, Joe. The people don't know about Miami Mike and Vic Arson yet, but they will. Oh, they will, but not yet. And what we're here to talk about is tag teams now. But like, I don't feel like I'm still trying to rack my brain with like two guys that were a tag team that had like the New Age Outlaws, because they were both like
Edge and Christian.
They both had singles gold. Edge and Christian is a very the Hardys, but
Steve Austin and Triple H.
Yeah, but that was a tag
the Rock and Sock connection.
Now you're just naming
Brothers of Destruction.
But they were already established.
The Generation X.
Exactly. Terry Funk and Mankind.
No, they already had
the gangsters.
Terry Funk is dead.
They're just gonna keep naming nonsense. Anyway, they already had it. Those guys already had an established singles career, and they put them in the tag team because of that. What did you say about Dory Funk?
He said Dory Funk's dead.
No, he's very much alive in Ocala, Florida. He's a great guy.
Chris Slawson gets so upset if you mention anything negative about Dory Funk.
Because he's a great man. He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh God, I look like a fat Buff Bagwell.
Yes, you do.
I wonder why your career was so short on Raw.
Buff Bagwell, American males, Buff Bagwell, and
can we talk about that really quick? Hold on, let's talk about the greatest Buff Bagwell story ever in Canada, and we're not going to talk about Judy Bagwell, but in Canada, Buff and Booker T were training up in Canada. And I guess some words were exchanged because it was a bunch of WCW guys and they wanted to take them up there and kind of give them that little WWF feel, And so Buff and Booker were up there with some other guys, Conan and a couple other people. And I guess Buff Bagwell said something and to him, and then Booker T walked over and just fucking busted him in the head. And then that wasn't the only time. Who else? Hurricane Helms had a water bottle and threw it at Buff Bagwell and split his whole eye open. That was another one, dude. Poor Buff.
That guy to steal on, I guess. I don't know. I've heard a couple of those stories. Poor Buff Bagwell.
Yeah,
I was a big Buff Bagwell fan. I like Buff Bagwell.
I like Buff Bagwell too, man. And then the Percocets took over.
Is Buff Bagwell on any of these on this game that you're trying to have us play?
Oh, so we are gonna have a game here momentarily. Yeah, I believe Buff Bagwell might be in one of them because we'll get into the rules. I'll get over it.
Let's get into Dynamite. We talked about Raw.
Yeah, and just we can just we'll just do the same thing as last time. We'll just fucking keep recording.
So I thought this Fyter Fest was really, really good. I thought the first one was all right. I thought the main event, Archer and Moxley, was very well done.
Yo, fuck you. Can we just jump into the best part ever? MDK, MDK. Yo, what? That was amazing. Greatest thing ever.
That was the first night, though.
No, that was last night, bro.
Oh, I didn't see the end of it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Nick Gage walks out with a fucking pizza cutter right on fucking TV. How much do you think he made? How much are they paying him right now?
Oh, you're talking about when he walks out?
Yeah.
Dude, he is going to lose to Chris Jericho on TV. Is that something for Nick Gage to say, okay, I'm definitely down to get pinned by Jericho? Or is this, yo, you got to fucking pay me to take a loss on your TV?
Bro, I don't know, man. But like when Jericho was in that locker room and he had his back to it with the spikes and everything like that, I mean, I knew it was Painmaker, but deep down inside, I thought he's going to move out of the way and Matt Cardona is going to be sitting there.
Oh.
I don't know if that
July 24th, baby. I'm counting down the days.
Dude, I literally was like, what if Matt Cardona's behind him? Obviously, because I mean,
2 days. 2 days. I cannot wait for that fucking match.
Oh man, like
you see how excited I am? I sat up for this.
But I mean, from Bell, from beginning of the show to when the goes off the air, I thought the show was really good. I think it was great starting off with Jericho and Spears. I think, and Jericho looked really good, and I loved MJF on commentary saying about Jericho looking like he's pregnant. I thought that was hilarious. But Jericho looked really, really good. I think the match was very well done out. I thought it was played perfectly. I mean, when the chair went into the corner, I knew what was happening. I knew, okay, this is how it's going to end.
See, I didn't think that. I thought they were going to do not the Eddie Guerrero spot, but I thought something was going to happen where Aubrey's turned and Jericho uses the chair and is able to get the pin after the chair and just get his own thing. But I did think that was clever.
Well, AEW refs don't even have to turn around. They can just let it happen in front of them. They're like, what'd you do?
What I did love, though, this is what I loved about AEW last night, is now with fans, it changes the dynamic of the matches.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you guys caught this, but the Britt Baker Nyla Rose match, Paul Turner, we were just giving him praise a couple weeks ago on how good he was. He counted the 3, and the crowd went nuts, but it wasn't supposed to be a 3. It was supposed to be a 2 count. So that's why the crowd started yelling at Paul Turner, telling him that was 3. That's 3 on. There was that like slow spot where they were trying to gather their go over the match, and they had to do some moves like twice. Because I was like, wait, he did count 3. It was like it was very vocalized today on social media.
I hadn't seen that in a while, but yeah, it's weird, dude. It's almost like it's like weird because at that moment in time, your mind can't accept, you're just like, no, that's it, right? That's this is like a sport, but then you have to it's such a weird thing when it happens. It's so fucking weird.
But I thought, and then I loved how you had Blade and Orange Cassidy get like twice getting hands on each other. I thought that was really, really good.
I
Let's
thought,
talk about your favorite Orange Cassidy spot with Sting. Come on.
oh, dude, that was amazing. That because like at first I was like, what are they gonna do? And then when they did the little shuffle, dude, it was so good. And the crowd was, and then he did the
he did the like lazy like
it was perfect. I thought they were gonna lead into like a whole thing where Orange Cassidy can't compete or something like that, which is what I thought that was happening. But it was good to see that they actually went through it.
But I can tell you that main event, Moxley and Archer, was a fucking barn burner. I did not think that title was changing hands.
Did you watch?
Yeah, I watched the first one. Trust me, when Wrestle Kingdom comes on, I'm usually watching it at 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
I watch it live. But no, yeah, that one was good too. I was excited about. I feel like a lot of there are two, like Sean Spears as well. Like I feel like those are two guys in AEW that fall into this. They fall at the wayside for some reason because there's so many people, and then they're trying to get new people in. I feel like those are the two. There's more than that, but like those are the two guys that like never get a spot like that on one of the bigger shows.
Well, I tell Joe this all the time. Those guys that I feel like I said about Andrade. I think Andrade is going to be Impact champion. I think the reason why they're bridging the gap between the two companies is not maybe to buy, but it's to merge the products so that if AEW has all this talent, they can send the Sean Spears to Nashville or to wherever Impact is going to be, so he still has ring time, so they can cross storyline and everything. I think that'd be super dope. I think if you see the Pinnacle show up on Impact one night, dude, that's
or even on New Japan, or even on like I feel like that is the correct remedy to our roster has too many names. It's like it's like watching like because you look at all the companies that tried to do anything against WWE, they got all these guys, so it's like woohoo, we got everybody, but like then they didn't know what to do with them. So I feel like that solves in a weird way, like that's actually solved the problem of we have too many people and we can now do these crossovers. It's good. I just want them. That's something I want them to get to quicker than what they've been doing. But
also last night it came out, or this morning it came out. They did another 1.2 million viewers for Dynamite.
Nice.
So that's like, I think
like before the pandemic, they were getting like 700, 800 around there. Like the highest numbers were like 7 something. But that's great, dude.
It's 2 weeks in a row over a million, and actually, I think 3 weeks ago they were at like 975 or something like that.
Well, it's the only wrestling on TV because the other company doesn't wrestle on TV.
The other channel.
That's okay. That's what I told Joe. For anyone watching or listening to us, Joe calls me at least 2 to 3 times a day. We talk about wrestling. We don't talk about anything else. We talk about wrestling and our thoughts and views on wrestling. He always calls me the AEW Mark because I love AEW. And I go, look, this is the reason why I love AEW.
Well, apparently 1.2 million people also love AEW, Joe and Jim, just so you guys know.
Well, this is why I love it, is because from as soon as the show starts, there's something happening in the ring. You never have any downtime where it's in-ring promo to backstage promo to another promo. It's always action. It's either match as soon as the show starts, or in-ring promo that leads to a match. There's never any downtime. There's always something that gets to where if you watch on Raw with 3 hours, it goes, start to show off with a 5-6 minute in-ring promo, then another promo, then another promo. You're only getting one match in an hour. It's just drawn out to me.
So we mentioned earlier we have a game for you. And I'm going to let Mr. Thrasher, since he has seniority over you, Mr. Michael or Christopher Slawson, I'm going to let you pick a number 1 through 3, and that's where we're going to start. And what this game is this game we're going to call Guess the Program or Guess the Pay-Per-View. Okay. It's the game I stole from our good buddy Jim Cornette. His are a lot different. His are back in territory days. Like he has to say what company was it, who was the promoter, where was it located, shit like that. It's like crazy as far. What I'm looking for is going to be a game between you two. I'm looking for give me the pay-per-view give me the year. City gives you extra credit, and you can tell me what match gave it away for you that it was that pay-per-view. The person with the best hand.
Are you giving us the card?
Yeah, I'm giving you the card.
Okay. I thought you were just like telling us the name that you were naming the city, and we had to tell you.
You're gonna tell me what pay-per-view it was, what year it was.
Lubbock, Texas, 1997. Which one? What was it?
Yeah, exactly. So
Poughkeepsie, Pennsylvania.
Mr. Thrasher, pick a number 1, 2, or 3. We're doing 3 programs.
2.
Interesting. I like this one. All right. So here we go. Since Mr. Thrasher got a pick, Mr. Slawson, you get first choice on it. Actually, it really doesn't fucking matter. All right. So to open the match, or to open the night here at this wonderful event, we had Too Much, which is Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor, versus Bradshaw and Vader. Okay. Now, I will tell you, I'll be nice to you guys, and all these took place in the 90s at some point. All right.
You said Too Much, Brian Christopher, and being Too Much, and you said Vader. So I'm gathering.
Oh, wait, I read that wrong. I'm sorry. Too Much versus LOD. Sorry, LOD 2000.
Okay.
Too Much versus LOD 2000.
Okay.
Gangrel versus Dustin Reynolds.
Okay.
The Disciples of Apocalypse versus Bradshaw and Vader.
Okay.
D'Lo Brown versus Val Venus.
Okay.
The Oddities versus Kai and Ty.
Okay.
The entire team of Kai and Ty.
Okay.
Okay. X-Pac defeated Jeff Jarrett.
Okay.
We had Edge and Sable defeat Jacqueline and Mark Merrow. We had Ken Shamrock versus Owen Hart. We had New Age Outlaws in a 2-on-1 match against Mankind.
Was this?
This is my turn, sir, not yours.
Am I allowed to ask questions?
No.
Okay, then go ahead.
Then fuck your questions.
You know what it is, but go ahead.
Then in the co-main event, it was Triple H versus The Rock. And in the main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Undertaker. I need to know, Chris Thrasher, what pay-per-view was this?
Was this in 1997? No Way Out in Akron, Ohio.
You said 97, No Way Out?
Yeah, No Way Out in Akron, Ohio.
All right. Slawson?
It 98 SummerSlam at Madison Square Garden, and I believe the date was like the 24th or the 3rd or something, or 23rd, around there. Or am I doing 23rd? I don't know.
You said in New York?
Yes.
All right. So the winner of this round goes to Mr. Slawson. On the head, 1998 SummerSlam, Madison Square Garden.
What day was it?
Doesn't tell me.
No. Whatever. It was a couple days before my birthday, or the day before my birthday, or something like that. But I vividly remember. That's one of my favorite pay-per-views of all time.
Holy crap. You're really good. All right. Slawson, 1 or 3. Pick a number.
What'd you say, 1 or 3? I thought Thrasher picked 3.
I picked 2.
Oh, then I'll go.
Because he told me to pick a number 1 between 1 and 3, and I said 2.
I'll go with 3.
That's why he's my co-host. I love it. All right. Great event. Good job, sir. All right. So opening up tonight is the Godfather defeating Midian. You have the Fabulous Moolah defeating Ivory. You had the Hollies, Crash and Hardcore, defeating the New Age Outlaws. You had China defeating Jeff Jarrett. You had The Rock defeating the British Bulldog. You had the New Brood, Jeff and Matt, with Gangrel versus Edge and Christian. You have Val Venus defeating Mankind. Wow. What a fucking time to go over Mankind, huh? X-Pac defeating Bradshaw, Farouk, and Kane. And Triple H in the main event defeating Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Who did British Bulldog face again?
I cannot repeat anything, sir.
God damn it. Fuck. That's definitely 99. I want to say...
Five, 4, 3.
Go with Unforgiven 99? That's wrong. But it's
where was that at, sir?
Oh man, those are always in like Raleigh or fucking somewhere in North Kakalaki.
Where are you living now?
North Kakalaki. Not in Raleigh though.
All right.
I visited Raleigh the other day. It was really nice.
Shut up. Thrasher, my main man. Don't let me down, baby. You got to win this one to have a shot to win it all.
I think it's King of the Ring 99.
Fuck, you may be right.
Where did it take place, Mr. Thrasher?
I want to say it's in like Richmond, Virginia.
All right. So I do have to do some quick research. So please take your time because there's one thing I'm looking for.
Part about you producing the whole show and I'm having all your information ready.
Oh, no, because I wasn't expecting this situation.
It's not fuck. Is it one of the British pay-per-views?
No, I wasn't expecting this situation. So
us to be wrong.
You guys have the year correct, both of you, 1999, right? Both of you answered wrong on the location. It took place in Ohio, Cleveland. Okay. Now here's the thing.
The Gund The Gund Arena? That's the Gund.
Both of you are wrong on the and because this is my game, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Sure.
Both of you
First off, you look like you belong on the Bohemian Rhapsody music video.
So let me see here. I have to see when it took place to see what pay-per-view it's closer to.
Scaramouche, you do the Vandango.
Thunderbolts are lightning.
So it wasn't one of the British pay-per-views? What?
Chris gets the point. I love it.
Me?
I forgot you two are both named Chris.
I guess he means me.
The point goes to Thrasher.
Was it King of the Ring?
No. The pay-per-view I was referring to was actually No Mercy of 1999.
Ah, fuck. And there was one before the summer, right? So he's closer.
I was literally gonna say either No Mercy or King of the Ring, but I thought The Rock faced British Bulldog.
Unforgiven is actually further away from No Mercy than
they did in 98. They did Unforgiven towards the beginning before summer, and then I think 99 is when they switched it to the fall.
So yeah, so I had to look up who was closer there in the months and what pay-per-view was closer. So point goes to Thrasher. So we have Slawcock with one.
In elementary school.
And then
that's weird.
Thrashy Dick.
When did they call you that?
High school.
That's more appropriate.
Now, I do have a backup pay-per-view ready to go just in case we have a tiebreaker here.
Good, because we do.
Are we staying with WWE or F at the time?
If we get to the tiebreaker, it becomes ECW. But yes, at the meantime, we are staying with WWF.
Fuck, then I got to take the lead because I won't know those.
Okay, so there's one pay-per-view left. Okay. Thrasher, you won last round because I said so.
Okay.
Well, because of the rules, he was closer. You're just, if this is a work,
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, Daddy, bring it on, Daddy.
Jerry Lynn opening up the night against Crash Holly. Okay. Lita against Molly Holly. X Factor against the Dudley Boys. All right. Make sure you guys check out Wrestling Paradox Podcast interviewing, what was his name? Just Incredible. No, just joking. Yes, we interviewed Just Incredible. So make sure you guys go check that out, please. X Factor.
Spotify and YouTube.
Yes, Spotify and YouTube. So X Factor against the Dudley Boys. Rhino against Raven. William Regal against Chris Jericho. Chris Benoit against Kurt Angle in a sudden death match. All right. Shane McMahon versus Big Show. Matt Hardy versus Christian and Eddie Guerrero. And Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H against the Brothers of Destruction. Now, Thrasher, when did this pay-per-view take place and what was the name? And you'll also notice that I never told you who won what matches because that's where the tiebreaker may come in.
So if we get the pay-per-view wrong and we're not going to know who won anyways, like,
I'll let you guys know. What pay-per-view, what year?
Me?
No, it's me. I'm thinking. I think it's 2002.
Okay.
I think it is SummerSlam 2002. And I think it was in Austin, Texas.
Just because I love you and I make the rules, I wouldn't put SummerSlam twice on this list. So I'll give you a chance to change your pay-per-view. Can you put some music in while we're doing this, Chris?
Oh, man.
It feels like someone just died in the room.
Jesus. Now you changed it. That's the only fucking thing I had.
I'll give you one chance. Come on, baby.
Why does this stand out to me? I don't know. This is going to be wrong. Completely wrong. But no, man. No.
Pick a fucking pay-per-view. Oh my God, this is crazy. It's so intense in here. I think I just farted.
Oh, man, because I'm going to be fucking... This is like one of those trick questions, too.
No, it's not. It's real simple. I will repeat one match.
Event. I'm trying to... I think I know the year, but it's a weird main event, and I can't pick...
Right, that's...
I'm putting a timer on you. You got 10. Five.
It's going to be wrong. Great American Bash.
All right. Chris?
You talking about this, Chris, now?
Yep.
All right, so I know it's 2001 because I believe that main event is the two-man power trip, and Triple H got hurt during that run, and then he comes back in 02 for the Rumble. So it can't be... Was it 02 or was it... Yeah, it was 02. So the what you're talking about is 2001, I believe, and I want to say... I just don't... They did different pay-per-views that year. I want to say it's either the July pay-per-view or something before King of the Ring in 2001, but I can't even fucking think off the top of my head what that would be. But I know it's 2001, and I'm gonna say sometime in May of 2001. I don't know the show.
What payper-view?
Dude, I don't know what pay-per-view they had before. Was that Unforgiven's always in September? So from that time, so I don't know what's in May, and they did do backlashes, but I don't think that's backlash. I'll say backlash just because that's around the time that I want to get, but it's not backlash.
I'm so happy my face was cut off because I was laughing so hard. It is 2001 Backlash.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But it doesn't matter. We're going to overtime. No fucking rules matter here.
The points.
All right. ECW. Give me this one. You have Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten versus FBI. You have Justin Credible defeating Jerry Lynn. You have Chris Candido defeating Lance Storm. Masato Tanaka versus Mike Awesome. Rob Van Dam and Sabu versus Hayabusa and Jinsei Shizuki.
Hayabusa.
Yep. You got Taz defeating Bam Bam Bigelow by submission, and you got Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Spike Dudley defeating the Dudley Boys.
Is
What
that? Is that?
Oh, you have it in the bag.
I because there's one of two pay-per-views that come to mind. I think I have the year of 98.
What pay-per-view?
That's one of two of them, man. I know the setup because the hard cam, they had two hard cams set up. One was over the entranceway because it was one of those tall entrance ways that went to the stage, like the stage connected to the ring. Man. I think it's Living Dangerously 1998.
Chris Slawson. I'll go with 98 as well, but I won't go Living Dangerously. I'll go. I feel like that's 97. I'm gonna go out 97 and see if I can get it different. 97, and it wasn't one of the major ones. Dude, I don't even know. 97 though. I feel like that's.
Give me a pay-per-view.
Was there a Living Dangerously in 97? I don't know ECW pay-per-views as well. I didn't get those. I just watched ECW.
Give me a fucking name of a pay-per-view.
Living Dangerously 97.
What pay-per-view?
Living Dangerously 97. I was gonna say Hardcore Heaven, but I know it's not that one. So.
Well, Hardcore Heaven 97 was down at War Memorial Auditorium.
No, yeah, that's the one.
So did you guys both say Living Dangerously?
Yeah.
Okay. Chris, you are correct in the year.
Which Chris?
Chris Thrasher is correct in the year 1998. It is actually, I believe,
guilty as charged.
Heatwave.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I've heard you mention Heatwave quite a bunch of times. So let's end the night on some AEW talk, and we'll talk about Taz because in this match he did defeat Bam Bam Bigelow, and I'm hoping and believing that is the time that Bam Bam Bigelow went through the stage or went through the ring or the stage, one of the two.
He went through the stage first, I think.
Yeah. So and that was the same night. They did both those spots in the same night.
No.
Okay. So Taz defeated Bam Bam Bigelow at night. So let's talk about Taz and AEW. The FTW Championship. Brian Cage is no longer in Team Taz.
Yeah, he's not in Team Taz anymore. I feel like that's a good move. I would have, and I actually like the. We talked about this last time, but I like the finish that they put the belt on the FTW belt, even though it's just but they put it on Ricky. I thought that was good.
I personally think this is gonna let Will Hobbs kind of take over, and you are gonna see Will Hobbs come a lot into his own because having two big guys in that circle like that, I think Brian Cage automatically shines over Will Hobbs because Brian Cage is, get my shit in and be the best out there and be the top guy. And that didn't leave a lot of room for Will Hobbs to show what he has. So I think we're going to get a lot more of Will Hobbs. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Will Hobbs in like a TNT title pitch or some point coming up.
Oh, for sure. I think Hobbs is, as far as like storytelling and stuff like that in the ring, I feel like he's got a little bit more, his pacing is more traditional than obviously Brian Cage is famous for doing Brian Cage stuff. He gets his shit in. That's his thing. But I also thought it was good because I felt like that team doesn't really have one specific person talking. It's just a bunch of guys kind of getting in matches. But I feel like Ricky Starks is a good talker, so I feel like that'll push him towards the forefront. And I feel like Brian Cage, even more so of like Hobbs, that he kind of took second stage to Brian Cage. I think Brian Cage was taking a little bit of a cut off of his what am I trying to say? I feel like Brian Cage was getting shorthanded because of being in that group. I feel like a guy like Brian Cage. I don't know why they.
You're trying to refer to him as being pigeonholed.
Yes, because he's, but not because of the talking.
Glass ceiling.
I definitely feel like Ricky Starks is the better talker, but as far as Brian Cage, just really getting the full effect of what Brian Cage is, I feel like he's more so like doesn't need a manager, doesn't need a something like that. So just putting him in a strictly singles role, I feel like is better for matches and new matchups. And I've always felt like that was he was having singles matches, but they weren't. I feel like him doing a program by himself will mean so much more than what he's been doing before. So.
I was reading on social media. Someone was like, "Man, how great would this be?" September 22nd is when Daniel Bryan comes out of Bryan Danielson, and he's like heel, right? Like heel against the crowd. You know, he wants to go on this heel run. Then Hook comes down, and Hook calls him out, and then that's Hook's like professional wrestling debut with AEW in his hometown, and he like has a really good like technical match with Bryan Danielson.
That could definitely happen because I think it's time for Hook to kind of break out of the shell. If we're getting Anthony Ogogo and fucking Michael Nakazawa taking on TV time, why the fuck can't we get Hook?
Like, I mean, when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, it was obviously said as a joke, but then I was like, that actually could work. It's his hometown. He's a true wrestler. Danielson's a true wrestler. Like, it would be like movie gold, you know?
No, I agree. That's a good matchup, and I've been waiting for Hook to get I figured by now on Dark or something that they would have him do something, but I totally agree that they should that should be his debut, so to speak.
Yeah, you know, definitely. But I do like Taz on commentary. I think in the Taz, like Team Taz aspect of it, I think they have. It might be just me. I think they have too many people.
Well, I was actually just gonna say that with Brian being out of that now it's 3 guys, right? So it's more manageable. Like they can do like single stuff, and Taz can come out just sing. I mean, they're still gonna do team stuff, but I feel like for Hobbs and Ricky, that would really benefit if it just now became more of a Taz. He can still commentate their matches, I guess, but I feel like it's better for them just kind of coming out solo with Taz to kind of get away from that whole. I feel like the only reason they kept it so tight together was because of the angle with Brian Cage, but now it's gone that they more of them can do single stuff.
Yeah, I think and also, I mean, it's different aspects too, because if you can put Brian Cage up against any of those guys in Team Taz, and it'd be a great match. To where you couldn't put anybody up against Team Taz because no one wrestled that style.
Right. All right. No, those 3 guys can definitely work with and obviously we haven't seen Hook yet, but I think those guys can work with pretty much just about anybody and it'd be unique. Like for all the shit people will give Brian Cage by getting his shit in, he does, but I do think I've seen enough Brian Cage matches now where I do think he finds ways to make it work with people's style. So it's always a unique take. It's not he's get my shit in, but it's not he's not always playing the hits. Like you'll get something new.
Right. Well, he allows the other person to get their shit in too.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, especially like last in February when we were at CCW in Nashville. He wrestled Casey Navarro. Big shout out to Casey Navarro. He just signed a contract with MLW.
Yes, and that was in my news notes that we never got to, and Joe looked up all the news, but I had that. You know, I was ready. He did sign with them. I thought that match with Casey was something that Brian Cage brought a lot of new stuff to. Also, it was like some stuff I had never seen from him before, and a lot of cool spots between him and Casey. I thought it was a good match.
Buff Padwell, are you ready?
What?
Oh, your insight. You started the conversation.
What do we talk about?
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Do we have anything else? Any news you want to go to before we're done? We had a good night. This is a fun show.
I did. I like this. This was good.
Yeah, you know, my boys are just come out and hang out.
So. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, that's the end of this show.
Hey.
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah. What?
Chris.
What?
Say something stupid.
Something stupid.
Something stupid.
There's 2 Chris's.
What?